Don't forget to like and subscribe.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Just a Thought, another podcast. What number am I? I'm already losing count, Jesse. By the way, Jesse's back.
Hello,
say what's
people.
up.
Hello, people.
What's up? All right. So, so we're up to podcast episode. I think this might be 4. I kind of record them ahead of time in full disclosure, so it's hard for me to keep track.
This could be 4. This could be 44. You never know when this is going to come out.
4 or 44. That's right. So check this out. I'm gonna shock you guys. I'm gonna pull up a video on screen in a few seconds here, and I'll tell you right now, man. Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now, and
It's a very shocking video.
it's shocking. I'm telling you right now. In this video we're watching right now, I'm sparring with one of my friends, longtime buddies, Seth Davis. Shout out to him for capturing this footage here, but this is from a few years ago, and I think, if I recall, I was almost 400 pounds in this video.
Yeah, it's shocking when you see it.
I mean, the thing about it is, I haven't seen this video since it was recorded years ago, and I'm looking at it, I was like, this is crazy. First of all, I should have shaved my head a long time ago, clearly. This hairline is struggling, to say the least.
And you're not matching at all there either.
Well, yeah.
Red, green, and white, man.
Yeah, well, isn't red, green, and white the American colors? Or?
No, I think there's red, white, and blue, man.
Oh, my bad.
And the flag that's right behind you is actually
that's right, that's correct.
the American flag
I
there.
hope they don't take my green card away. Actually, I'm a citizen. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
I'm taking that green shirt from you, I'll tell you that much.
What are you going to do? Wear it as a blanket?
I'm going to throw it away, man.
Okay.
It's terrible. It's got a stain on it.
It's got a stain. Well, it's food stains, man. Back then I ate a lot. You know
I
what
see
I'm saying?
this.
So, yeah, man. So, I don't know. That's enough of that. I guess I must have just realized I was being filmed. And but yeah, at least I was working out back then. You know, I ate horribly, but I worked out regularly. I had my little home gym there that I put together. So I could still kickbox a little bit back then, but I kickbox in slow motion. You know what I'm saying? Back then.
Well, being that big.
This is actually regular speed. This is not.
See, originally I did think this was a slowed down video, but saying this is real speed, I mean, you're 400 pounds, so you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean,
take it with a grain there. I mean, big men are usually slower.
That's true, but
That's why I'm a very fast person, because I'm small.
And that's true. You're pretty quick, man. So that's enough of that. But that's enough of the jokes. We're joking around here, obviously, and stuff like that. But I'll tell you right now, if I've always known what exercise has done for me on a mental level. My diet was the part that was struggling, but I did work out even when I was almost 400 pounds there. But I want to take you guys on a journey with me as I continue to retransform myself and retransform my body, and get back on track here. I actually used to be in shape. I was a former MMA fighter, and shout out to Apex Mixed Martial Arts down in Binghamton, New York here. Actually run by one of my good friends I've been friends with since I had originally started MMA over 10 years ago. Alex is one of my best buddies. He's part owner of that gym. And I'll tell you right now, exercise, whenever I'm in a dark place, exercise is one of those things that help to bring me back. That stress that you receive from that exercise does certain things to the brain. And I believe that exercise really should be a part of your regular routine. If you get up and you brush your teeth fairly often, which I hope people do.
Some people don't, but they probably should do that too. Yeah, they should work on that and then work to the working out part.
They should definitely start.
That's the first. Brushing your teeth is the first one.
Yeah, that's the first one. That's one of a few things. So we definitely want to start with brushing our teeth. But after we brush our teeth, at some point hit the gym, make that a regular activity.
Yeah. And it's always hard in the beginning. I remember about a year ago, I never worked out. It was like I paid for like 20 gym memberships and maybe 20 times over my entire life. So I've never really worked out. Like a year ago, I started consistently working out. And once you get into a routine, it's much easier to stay in it. That's where everyone stops, is that initial getting up to actually go.
Yeah.
But once you get it worked into your routine, it's actually really easy to go.
And one of the things I want to tell people is if you make a regular, one of the ways, if you're not used to working out regularly, I think one of the ways to get yourself motivated, other than getting a personal trainer, and one of my friends, one of our good buddies is a personal trainer as well, and he's paid to actually motivate people, but let's say you're somewhere else in the world and maybe that's not available to you financially, whatever the case is, one of the ways you can motivate yourself certainly is to find friends who want to work out and you guys kind of hold each other accountable, hit up each other. I remember when we lived together and you had moved in, we deliberately did that. We're like, Jesse, let's make a schedule on when we hit the gym,
Between the three of us, I mean, there was plenty of days where someone didn't want to go and one person made the suggestion, like, no, we're going, so everyone would go. It's like if you have that group of friends that's gonna, you know what I mean, when you don't want to go and they want to go and you're like, all right, well, this person wants to go, so I guess I'm gonna go. It's harder to make the excuse when you have someone else that's kind of calling you on the excuse. Yeah,
that's true. And we, referencing back, Jessie and I, I'm gonna put a link up in the card up here. Jessie and I did a video on the code of behavior and the impact that friends have on you. And Jessie is one of my good buddies, so the second time he's on the podcast, I'd love to keep having him on the show and having more of my friends on here. But yeah, having a group of friends who can motivate you and hold you accountable for the gym and exercise is a good thing. And I think that exercise certainly, first of all, we always talk about how mind and body is connected. Exercise certainly boosts your mood. And it definitely helps with anxiety disorders, sleep disorders, and a bunch of other things. So Jessie and I are both MMA fans. Jessie still trains in jiu-jitsu over at Apex, and I was a former mixed martial arts fighter, heavyweight, and at one point I was ranked in the top 10 in the Northeast in the heavyweights. And exercise and MMA at the time brought me out of a dark place, and it did a lot for me. And I've always been a lifelong martial artist. I always loved the martial arts. It's always helped me a lot. It was always one of my original coping mechanisms, for good or for bad. When I was a kid, I used to fight a lot. What about you, Jesse? Were you a scrappy kid?
Yes, you could say that. I got into my fair share of things that I probably shouldn't have did when I was younger. So, a couple of fights here and there. But the one thing with martial arts, too, it helps with kind of getting out of that mode, because when you go into a martial arts school first, you're going to lose a lot for a long time. So you you kind of get out of that kind of cocky mode that you may have gotten into, whether growing up and thinking that you're tougher or know more than you do. You kind of go in there and you get humbled pretty quickly, because like I said, in the beginning it's a good amount of losing, especially in the jiu-jitsu end. It's a good amount of losing before you get to a level where you're just surviving at that point. You're not even winning, just surviving.
And if you struggle with insecurity, that's definitely something that's going to help with that, because losing will humble you, and it will teach you how to certainly take a loss. But if you can break it through, we can break through that grind session and start to have improvement. Certainly, that kind of impact and change while you're working out, I know for me personally, it definitely taught me a lesson that I could translate to other parts of my life. Whether it's career-wise or with relationships or whatever the case is, it just teaches you that will to fight through and to not give up. And I know martial arts does that, because you will fail a lot when you do martial arts. Yeah.
And it's a very humbling loss too, because it's most of the time when you get beat by somebody, a lot of times they'll tell you how not to get beat that way again. Yeah. So it's a very humbling, but they're very supportive in that loss. They're going to help you say, well, this is what you did wrong, so don't do this next time. Yeah. And then you cannot do that, and they'll get you a different way. But they're still going to show you along the way to kind of build you up.
Yeah.
And it's just a big confidence thing, because that first time where you've been going for 6 or 8 months, and sometimes you're like, man, I don't even know why I come here. I lose every time. And then the new person comes in, and you kind of go with them, and you realize like, oh, I actually do know what I'm doing. Now I'm doing to this new person what everyone used to do to me. It's, you're not doing it to the guys that have been there forever. They're still doing it to you. But once you get someone that comes in, you're like, okay, this is making sense. So I do actually know what I'm doing, and I am making progress in this. So it is a big confidence man, it's a different type of confidence, and you feel good. And I mean, most nights when I leave there and I go home, like, that's the best sleep I get. You're gonna sleep a full 8 hours. You're not gonna have any problems because you're just gonna be so tired from going so hard that your body's just gonna welcome going to sleep. It's not a hard thing at all.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize what kind of impact exercise has on your sleep and your ability to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, if you just exhaust your body with like a hard workout, you know, it's very easy to go to sleep. You know, you go right to sleep. You know, I'm gonna sleep the whole night. You know, if I don't, you know, go work out that day, you know what I mean, I'll probably wake up 2 or 3 times in the middle of the night or toss and turn. But if I've had a good workout, whether it's you know, going to the gym or training jiu-jitsu, it's a good night's sleep. It's a peaceful sleep for me.
Yeah. So, and I let me first of all apologize. I don't know if the mic is picking it up or not, but my neighbor is walking around upstairs, and it sounds like my neighbor weighs 400 pounds.
Yeah, it sounds like it's
loud booming.
It sounds like it was you before you started losing weight, just walking around upstairs.
Well, I actually cloned myself, and my clone lives upstairs. Yeah. And don't ask me why I do it. I just think it's funny.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, you want to see where you came from, to see where you're at.
Oh yeah, compare and contrast.
Exactly, man. So you keep your out of shape self upstairs. That way, you can just look at him each day and go, I was there once. No, I'm not.
No, I'm not. And you know, I want to pull up some information here, and I will have relevant links in the description down below, right below that subscribe button that I know you're going to hit. Okay, but I will pull up relevant links to articles that I'm reading here, and one of the ones I want to get into is on this blog article, Exercise for Mental Health. And it says here in one of the paragraphs, it says, you know, aerobic exercises including jogging, swimming, cycling, walking, gardening, and dancing have been approved to reduce anxiety and depression. And I've actually started, truth be told, I haven't really trained much in MMA, anything for a while. I do want to get back into it.
So you started gardening, right?
I started gardening, yeah.
I figured that.
And not only gardening, and also, you know, developing my green thumb here, but also, and people love to garden in the winter. Everybody knows that. That's one of the best time to do it.
You could grow ice cubes.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I started actually enjoying jogging, and I might put up a little clip of myself jogging because people clearly don't know what jogging is. So I believe that I need to show people what jogging is. I might be the first person to ever start jogging, so I want people to understand what jogging looks like.
It's a very good thing. I don't jog myself. Okay. You know, I'm not at that point yet.
Okay. Yeah, I just really started getting into it. It's a new hill for me to climb, something else to get into. But these improvements in mood are proposed to be caused by exercise-induced increase in blood circulation to the brain, and by an influence on the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal HPA axis. How did I do pronouncing that, man?
Well, a lot better than I would have done.
Okay.
Because just reading it, I was like, what is that word?
I appreciate the compliment. And thus on the physiologic reactivity to stress. This physiologic influence is probably mediated by the communication of the HPA axis, and don't ask me to say that again, with several regions of the brain, including the limbic system, which controls motivation and mood, the amygdala, that's how you say that, okay, which generates fear in response to stress, and the hippocampus, which plays an important part in memory formation as well as in mood and motivation. Now, after I read that article, my first question for you is the hippocampus a place where hippos hang out? Is that what that is?
That's what I was thinking.
Oh. I don't imagine it is. Maybe it's a part of the brain. I don't think it's...
Yeah, maybe not. Not. I would have heard about some place like this.
Yeah, maybe a school for hippos.
Yeah.
You know, all of this stuff, all this is saying to you is this. Look, your brain, I imagine, has certain responses to stress. And a lot of people, you know, I was talking to someone yesterday that said they didn't want to do something because it would be too difficult to deal with mentally. So therefore they weren't going to do it. And it was visiting someone else. It wasn't even like something I considered to be something that really should cause a lot of stress. It's just visiting someone, and they're like, I don't want to visit that person because it's too difficult to deal with that. What people don't understand with anxiety is the more you give in to fear and sort of give in to that I'm sorry, I just don't know how to put it. That weakness of not wanting to do things simply because it's slightly difficult. That's how you increase anxiety overall, and that's how you maintain anxiety overall. It's just not being courageous. Like, develop some courage. So exercise is a sort of a mechanical way of forcing yourself to go through regular stress, and then you keep going to the gym. So that will translate to anxiety and other areas of your life outside of the gym, where you sort of are willing to overcome things.
The gym and martial arts, I mean, it's going to be hard. There's going to be hard times. There's going to be times when you don't feel like you can do it. It's going to be hard. You're going to have to get used to hard situations, and it's going to help you build those hard situations and get through them. It's going to help you in, normal life. You're going to think, going to visit someone, like you said, isn't that hard. But it's also not that hard when you're, used to, in that sparring video, you're used to someone, trying to punch you. I mean, that's a far greater consequence than visiting someone. Yeah. So when you look at that end of it, what you do on your daily basis, you're going through much harder struggles. Yeah. It just makes, normal life and those things that you would think are hard seem to be just very easy or minimal tasks.
Absolutely. And certainly overall, hey, young Jamie, could you pull up this article? Oh, I'm not Joe Rogan, so I don't have access to young Jamie, right?
No, you are young Jamie, and
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to pull up an article here on my ancient laptop.
You probably don't see it in the video, but this man has the largest laptop that I've ever seen. Like, it's the size of like a real normal desktop computer, but it's a laptop. Like, it folds in half. It's outrageous.
Well, the thing about it is, and what Jesse doesn't know is, when you go to the store and you're almost 400 pounds, like I was, you're not allowed. They don't sell you laptops that are under 400 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So they sell it according to.
And they sent you, and they gave you a folding desktop computer.
Yes.
I understand it.
Because I was a folding desktop human. So, and before you guys get mad at me for making chubby jokes, I'm joking about myself. Okay, I'm not talking about anyone else other than me. So I think I'm allowed to crack a couple of jokes about myself.
Yeah, of course.
And so there's that. So I want to get into another article that Jamie just pulled up, young Jamie. And exercise is not just about aerobic capacity and muscle size. Sure, exercise can improve your physical health. And this is another article here on helpguide.org. But exercise can improve your physical health and your physique, trim your waistline, improve your sex life. Yeah, I mean,
that sounds amazing. So, I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, with that right there, why wouldn't you want to go do it?
I might go to the gym right after this.
Yeah, man.
And even add years to your life. But so people who exercise regularly tend to do so because it gives them an enormous sense of well-being. And a lot of people say if you look good, you feel good. I know, I'm certainly not at my weight goals I'm trying to get to yet. But from that video you saw to now, I look a little bit different, don't I?
You look a lot different, actually.
Yeah. So
you definitely want to look good. I mean, obviously, physically, like, we're all not where we are, but we all like to look good. I mean, look at me. I got the chain on.
Look fresh, man.
Yeah, I always have to. You have to match too.
Yeah.
As you could tell from the point out in video, it's weird when people don't match. I look at them like, how did you think leaving the house like that was going to be a good idea? Like, you are wearing camo pants and red, okay? That doesn't go together. Everyone wears it, does not go together.
You got friends that do that?
Yeah, all the time. And they're like, it goes together. I'm like, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It's not go together.
Oh, man. So, exercise, people feel more energetic throughout the day, sleep better at night, which we've already said, have sharper memories, feel more relaxed and positive about themselves and their lives, and it's also a powerful medicine for many common mental health challenges. Moving right on, regular exercise can have a profoundly positive impact on depression, anxiety, ADHD, and more. It also relieves stress, improves memory, helps you sleep better. Did I already say that? I think I already said that, but just repeating for emphasis here, and boosts your overall mood. You can always find relevant articles all over the internet. And I know sometimes people really don't have the gumption on their own to do these things. I know sometimes I don't. I lose motivation, and what I'll do is friendship is huge in my life, man. And so when my friends hit me up and they're like, hey man, well, I'm heading to the gym. You want to come with me? That's an important, certainly a beneficial element. Just to reemphasize, I did say that earlier. I realized that, and you can hold each other accountable. You can boost each other up in that way. And the brain is like clay. The brain is like clay, and you can mold your brain into enjoying and getting pleasure from exercise. I mean, it's been proven. Like, I thoroughly enjoy it. And what does it do for you? You know, I know you talked about it earlier with the jiu-jitsu, but just in general, with weightlifting or any other types of exercise, you enjoy anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I like going to the gym. I mean, I like the sauna, getting in there and just kind of sweating. You feel better with that. And I do like weightlifting as well. You know, I mean, you get in there, and like I said, I mean, it's hard. You know, I mean, you're putting, you know, I mean, every day you're trying to, you know, go into lifting more weights or doing more reps. So like it's hard. So, but the big thing is just, I mean, it's the result is when you actually start putting in the time and start seeing results from what you're doing.
I think they say it takes about 6 weeks of consistent exercise before you start to see a result, yeah?
Yeah, and I mean, even then it might be a small result, but just once you actually start seeing the results and feeling better, I mean, the sleep thing and all that is great, but you know, once you start actually seeing the results from working out, getting in better shape, I mean, that's where you're like, okay, and that's where that's where you want to push yourself harder now, because you're seeing the results and you're seeing what it's doing, and you want to continue down that path.
And definitely jump on that scale once a week. I know that's something I used to avoid. You know, people in the void, they don't want to look in the mirror. I literally, when I was almost 400 pounds, I literally did not look at myself in the mirror for a year. I literally didn't look at myself in the mirror. So I had stuff all up in my beard, in my hair. I was completely depressed. I wasn't working at all. I was unemployed intentionally. Not because of anything other than the fact that I just didn't want to go to work. Sitting back all day playing Xbox, playing video games, and just completely depressed, completely in the void. And I didn't even look in the mirror because I didn't like what I saw. I didn't like what I saw in the mirror. So instead of fixing the issue and focusing on that, I decided to not look at myself in the mirror so I can continue that behavior. And I haven't looked into the full mechanisms of that. But when you start to look at yourself in the mirror, not only physically, but also mentally, like start to allow yourself to be analyzed. And when I say analyze, I mean by a professional, by a licensed psychiatrist or therapist, somebody, professional person, and have them put you under a microscope, put yourself under a microscope. And I know that's one of the things that kind of helped turn me around, is starting to look at myself in the mirror physically and mentally, and start taking care of myself better. You look better, you feel better, you know?
Yeah, you definitely want to look and feel good. And I mean, it's just, you know, it's hard to put into words, but it just really does make your whole appearance on everything better. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I said, you don't think just working out, you know what I mean, it's going to make your job, you know, seem easier. You know, most people's jobs are really not that hard. We complain about them because, you know what I mean, we have complaints, but when you look at the grand scheme of things, most people's jobs are not that hard.
Yeah, that's true.
It compared to, you know, other things. I mean, some people definitely have hard jobs, so that's not a broad spectrum, but a lot of people complain about little things that, you know what I mean, if they were in better shape and felt better, I mean, those things wouldn't seem so difficult. And
it's funny how you say that, because I was just thinking that it translates to work too. Like if you, a lot of people don't go to the gym and exercise because they say they worked 8 hours. Now you realize that there's 24 hours in a day. If you sleep for 8 hours, which most people don't, but let's say I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt and say this person slept for 8 hours, you still have another 16 hours. And what do doctors recommend? Working out 20 minutes 3 times a week. Yeah. So you're telling me that in a full 7-day schedule, you work 8 hours a day, you don't have, what is that? 20 plus 20 is 40, plus another 20 is what? 60? Carry the one to the 2.
You could do anything. I mean, you could get home and walk around the block once. Yeah. As just an introductory to start. I mean, you don't have to, go to the gym or, you know, go to a martial arts school. You could just literally just go home and say, well, I'm just going to walk. Before I go inside, I'm just going to walk around the block twice.
Yeah.
You know, whatever the case is. You know, I mean, there's plenty of things that you can do just from your home that, like I said, are just going to get you out there. I mean, look at that, gardening.
Yeah.
Go plant some carrots, all right?
Yeah, go plant
You'll feel better
plant some
about
ice.
yourself.
Grow some ice in the backyard, you know?
Yeah, grow some, big ice cubes in the backyard. And, grow carrots inside the ice cube. See if you can do that. It's gonna make you feel better.
Yeah, that's the most delicious dessert in Mount Rapids. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, and I'll tell you right now. But let me ask you this question. So for me, what got me into martial arts, and I went through a lot of traumatic experiences as a child, and when I was a young child, and those experiences, I used martial arts and fighting as a coping mechanisms. I was so quick to fight people all the time, and it was really out of control. And so that's where the love of martial arts started for me, because I wanted to be able to defend myself because I didn't want to be hurt physically anymore. So for you, what got you to become a scrappy kid, or got you into martial arts originally?
Originally, I mean, I did things like as a child, like I did karate like very young for a few years, and I wrestled in middle school for a couple of years. But through high school and stuff, I never really committed to anything because I was kind of lazy back then. I didn't really want to put the work in. Like, I didn't want to go to practices and stuff like that. I'd rather just, if I could just go to the wrestling tournament, I would have wrestled forever. But, you actually have to practice, and I just wasn't something I wanted to do as a teenager.
You were young, you didn't know any better too. So,
but yeah, I mean,
as you get older,
as you get older, you realize it more. But young, it was just I didn't want to do it, and we were young, and we'd go out to parties and go out, and so I mean, fights happen, quite frequently. So it was always something there. But I mean, what got me into martial arts was I'm just a huge UFC fan. Like,
speaking of UFC, man, isn't Jon Jones from this area?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Jon Jones is from, the greatest mixed martial artist of all time is from the Binghamton area. Actually, he was from Endicott.
It's funny because everyone tells the story, but mine is actually true.
What's the story?
I actually grew up right down the street from Jon Jones.
Oh yeah.
I was like when I was very young, like before like elementary school. So I used to, as kids, we used to play with Chandler. Was actually my age, so me and Chandler used to play.
Now who's Chandler?
Chandler is John's youngest brother.
Okay, and what does he do?
He's in the NFL, plays for Arizona Cardinals.
Oh.
Yeah, so we used to, play football and tag in the front yard. So.
Oh, he's only in the NFL?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. He's not in the XFL. He's in the NFL.
No, he's in the NFL. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's actually like one of the top sack leaders this year.
That's crazy.
So yeah, I mean, I grew up, with them, but you know what I mean. It's just, that's a perfect example of, they come from a small town and look at their family. Everyone's made it. Yeah,
they've all made it and they all do it around exercise and they're highly motivated. And I'm sure being around each other growing up certainly helped. I think their older brother, Arthur Jones, he's a two-time Super Bowl champion, and he's also obviously from this area as well.
Yep. So, all of them grew up here.
So yeah, those guys certainly fueled each other. I bet as brothers growing up, they probably worked out together, they held each other accountable.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they were, like I said, from young, they were all in, football, basketball, wrestling, all the, the sports. And yeah, I mean, you have brothers and sisters that work out. Of course, they're gonna push you to work out.
Yeah.
I mean, and especially in the brother sense. I mean, I'm sure those guys probably, beat each other up at times. So you want to be a little bit more athletic to make sure that doesn't happen. But yeah, what got me into martial arts was just really I'm a UFC fan. I mean, I pretty much watch every single UFC card that I can.
We talk MMA UFC. All the time, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, anything Bellator. I mean, any fights that are on. Yeah. Local fights. I mean, I go to the gym that I train at. Anytime those guys are having fights that I'm available, I try to go out and watch those fights. Yeah. So in a sense, I'm just a huge fan of it. So that's what brought me into just wanting to actually train it.
And I certainly will not advocate for the behaviors that I engaged in when I was young. And Jesse, I'm sure you feel the same.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those kind of, because, and I think that's maybe one of the reasons why we got into the martial arts is so we had a safe outlet and a safe coping mechanism.
I definitely don't condone it, but I will say this. I don't regret any of it. I do think that it is actually healthy to do those things as a child, because you do kind of, as a child, you get away with things more. So when you make those mistakes young and you get in trouble for them, and it's not like real trouble, like it can be if you do something severe enough.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You get caught. And it's
at first I was worried about what you're saying, but
and it's like, you know what I mean? Okay, this is what could happen to you if you continue down this road. you know, I mean, if you tried to do the things you did at, 15 at 30, like, you're gonna go to jail.
The consequences is gonna be
your life is gonna be ruined.
grave.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, it is almost better to make those mistakes as a minor, because
when you can, I got you.
People are gonna look at you like, hey, you're young, you don't know what you're doing yet.
Yeah.
This is the road that you could go down.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I definitely had that moment, when I was young.
Yeah.
I did something that I probably shouldn't have. That if I did now would be a big problem now.
Well, by all means, don't talk about it. We are on camera.
Yes.
And
but
you're here now.
Yes.
You're good.
Yeah. So it changes your dynamic. You see things and you're like, this is not something that I should be doing.
Yeah.
Like I said, when you're young is the time to make those kind of mistakes.
That's true. And mistakes like that and seeing the consequences of them certainly can, like you said, I'm with you 100%. Now as an adult, you're like, okay, your brain is already molded around what the consequences are for your choices.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't make those kinds of choices now as an adult.
Yes, and when it's really gonna hurt you now. When you have jobs and people have families and houses to pay.
People
for.
look up to you. Kids look up to you.
You can't lose everything. There's people that are gonna, be very affected by that. When as a kid, you're probably living with your parents. You probably don't really pay bills. If you have some type of job that you lost young because of something dumb you did, it's not gonna,
I know all about that.
drastically ruin your whole life, because you're still living with your parents. They're gonna make sure that you eat. They're gonna make sure that you have a place to stay. You might not have money to go hang out with your friends and do whatever you want, but you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
So those mistakes young can be.
And that's what got me into the martial arts, and that's what forwarded me there. And martial arts isn't for everybody. I'm not advocating. Make sure you clear yourself with your doctor first before you decide to do any strenuous exercise. And certainly, if you're going to get into the martial arts, be very careful. Start very light. I love the martial arts. I still do, and I hopefully will get back in the gym there with you, Jesse. We can go join up. We do some jiu-jitsu and stuff like that eventually over at Apex. And but yeah, man, I mean, so this is a little thought that I wanted to give, just a thought. And if you made it this far through the podcast, please subscribe to the video. Leave a comment down below. Tell us what exercise has done for you, how it's impacted your life, or how it helps you on a mental health level.
Share some exercises. You know what I mean? Share some of the things you do.
Yeah.
Let's see if maybe we can learn something new here.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's about growing your what you do. So if you have a workout that helps you, share it in the comments. Yeah, share in the comments. And also, I'm on social media. We're on social media. We're on Just a Thought. I do have links in the description to our social media pages. We are on Instagram, we are on Twitter, and we are on Facebook. We have a Facebook group, and we have the Facebook page that I encourage you guys to go ahead and comment, and everything like that. And it's been Just a Thought. Thank you, Jesse, for joining me again. Well, thank you for having me out again.
Certainly, man. And we'll have you back on the show again, of course, moving forward regularly. So it's been Just a Thought on exercise.